We're diving into a new story, filled with emotions and drama. Let's get started. My jealousy towards my sister was compounded when my boyfriend admitted he finds her prettier than me. Growing up in our family was like living in two different worlds. Under the same roof, our house, a modest two-story home on the outskirts of a bustling city, was filled with the sounds of laughter, chatter, and the occasional sibling squabble. My parents, hardworking and loving, always did their best to provide for us. My father, an engineer, spent long hours at the office, while my mother, a nurse, often worked night shifts at the local hospital. Despite their busy schedules, they made time for family dinners, weekend outings, and holidays filled with warmth and joy. My name is Lily, and I am 24 years old. My sister Emma is 2 years older than me. From a young age, it was clear that Emma and I were different. In many ways, Emma was the kind of child who turned heads wherever she went with her tall, slender frame, cascading golden hair, and striking blue eyes. She could easily have been a child model. Her beauty was undeniable and magnetic, drawing attention and admiration from everyone she encountered. Even as a toddler, people would stop my mother in the grocery store to comment on how beautiful Emma was. I, on the other hand, was often described as cute. I had a petite build, with curly brown hair that refused to be tamed, and wide hazel eyes. While Emma's beauty was the kind that commanded attention, mine was more subdued, often overlooked in the shadow of her radiance. I didn't mind at first. I loved Emma dearly, and took pride in her beauty and charm. Emma was outgoing, confident, and charismatic. She made friends easily and was always the center of attention. At school and social gatherings, her laughter was infectious, and her energy seemed boundless. Emma had a natural talent for making people feel special, and she thrived in social situations. I was more introverted and reserved. I enjoyed spending time with a close-knit group of friends, and preferred quiet activities like reading, drawing, and exploring the outdoors. While Emma dazzled others with her charm, I found joy in the small, simple moments of life. I was content to observe and listen, often playing the role of the supportive sister who stood in the background, cheering Emma on from the sidelines. Despite our differences, Emma and I shared a close bond. During our early childhood years, we would spend hours playing in the backyard, creating imaginary worlds, and embarking on grand adventures. Emma was always the leader, inventing elaborate storylines and assigning roles, while I happily followed along, adding my own touches to our fantastical tales. Our parents did their best to treat us equally, showering us with love and support. However, as we grew older, the differences in how people perceived us became more pronounced at family gatherings. Relatives would gush over Emma's beauty, often overlooking me in their admiration. Teachers at school would comment on Emma's potential to become a model or actress, while my achievements in academics and art were noted but not celebrated with the same enthusiasm. One of my earliest memories, a feeling overshadowed by Emma's beauty, occurred when I was 6 years old. It was Emma's 8th birthday, and our parents had thrown a big party to celebrate. The house was filled with family and friends, laughter and music echoing through the rooms. Emma wore a beautiful pink dress with a matching bow in her hair, looking like a princess from a fairy tale. I wore a simple blue dress, feeling pretty, a play next to Emma's dazzling appearance. As the guests arrived, they flocked to Emma, showering her with compliments and gifts. "You look like a little princess, Emma." Campus was buzzing with energy as students moved into their dorms and attended orientation events. I felt a sense of independence and freedom that I hadn't experienced before. My dorm room was small, but decorated with posters of famous paintings and stacks of books. It was my own little sanctuary where I could escape into my world of creativity. Life was a transformative experience for me. Exclaimed. I quickly immersed myself in my classes, eager to learn and grow. The professors were passionate and I found myself inspired by their classes. Allowed me to experiment with different mediums and techniques, while my literature courses opened my mind to new perspectives and ideas. I also developed close friendships with my roommates. As I learned to trust in my skills, we bonded over late-night study sessions and the ups and downs of college life. My roommate Sarah was a kind and supportive friend who shared my love for art. We often spent hours in the art studio, working on our projects and discussing our dreams and aspirations. One of the most significant aspects of my experience was meeting Mark. We met during our sophomore year and embraced my role as a therapist. In a creative writing class, Mark was an English major with a passion for poetry and storytelling. He had a quiet, introspective demeanor that drew me in, and we quickly became friends. Our friendship blossomed into a romantic relationship, and soon we were inseparable. Mark was a constant source of support and encouragement. He appreciated my artistic talents and often attended my gallery. My confidence continued to grow showings, and we spent countless hours discussing art and our future aspirations. Mark's gentle nature and helpful insight helped me gain confidence in myself and my abilities. I found myself falling deeply in love with him. Mark's presence in my life was a calming influence, and he helped me navigate the challenges of college with grace and resilience. With him by my side, I felt more confident and capable. As I completed my degree, while the college years were filled with personal and growth experiences, my relationship with Emma became more strained. Her modeling and acting career, and she was living a glamorous life that seemed worlds apart from mine. Emma's success brought her fame and recognition, and she often appeared in magazines and on television. She attended red carpet events, mingled with celebrities, and began working as a full-time art therapist, and traveled to exotic locations for photo shoots. Despite our different paths, Emma and I stayed in touch. She would occasionally visit me at college, bringing with her a whirlwind of excitement and glamour. During her visits, she would regale me with stories of her adventures, describing the luxurious parties, the famous people she had met, and the exciting projects she was working on. I developed strong relationships with my clients. While I was genuinely happy for her, these visits also brought up old, and one particular visit stands out in my memory. Emma had just returned from a photo shoot, and she decided to surprise me with a visit. She arrived on campus in a sleek dress, in designer clothes, and carrying a suitcase full of gifts. As we walked through the campus, students turned their heads to look at her, and colleagues, captivated by her beauty and presence. Paris was incredible, her eyes sparkling with excitement. The Eiffel Tower, the fashion shows, the food, everything was just perfect. And guess what? I met a famous director who wants to cast me in his next film. That's amazing, Emma, I replied, trying to sound enthusiastic. I'm really happy for you. As we continued our walk, and I found immense satisfaction in helping Emma's stories of her glamorous life, I couldn't help the air but feel a pang of jealousy and inadequacy. While Emma was living a life of adventure and excitement, I was focused on my studies and navigating the challenges of college. It was hard not to compare our lives and feel like I was falling short. That evening, as we sat in my dorm room, Emma noticed a stack of art supplies on my desk, and finding their own paths to self-acceptance. You always were the creative one, Lily, she said with a smile. I wish I had had your appreciation for art. Compliment. But it didn't fully alleviate my feelings of insecurity. Despite my achievements and the personal growth I had experienced in college, I still struggled with the constant comparisons to Emma. I was a lingering shadow that I couldn't quite escape. As the years went by, I continued to focus on my work. My work was challenging. In my relationship with Mark, I knew that I needed to find my own identity and create a life that was true to myself. College was an opportunity for me to explore my passions and develop my skills, and I was determined to make the most of it. One of the most rewarding experiences of my college years was participating in a study abroad program. I spent a semester in Italy. You're going to break so many hearts when you grow up. Immersing myself in the rich culture and history of the country. The experience was transformative, allowing me to gain new perspectives and deepen my understanding of art and literature. I visited famous museums, studied the works of Renaissance masters, and filled my sketchbook with drawings of the beautiful landscapes and architecture. Italy also provided a sense of independence, but it was also incredibly rewarding and self-discovery. Away from the familiar environment of home and college, I had the opportunity to reflect on my life and my aspirations. I realized that I didn't need to compare myself to Emma. My worth wasn't defined by external recognition, but by my own efforts and passions. I felt a renewed sense of purpose and confidence. I threw myself into my final year to make the most of my remaining time, and I felt a deep sense of fulfillment. I completed my senior thesis, a collection of paintings and essays that explored the intersection of art and literature. The project was a culmination of my personal growth, and I received high praise from my professors. As graduation approached, Emma decided to visit Emmy once again. She had just finished filming her fourth. Excited to share the news, her arrival brought a mix of emotions. Throughout this journey, happiness to see my sister, but also a sense of dread about the inevitable comparison. Emma arrived on campus with her usual flair, instantly attracting attention. Her presence was drawing eyes and admiration. As she moved through the crowd with grace and confidence, we spent the day catching up, and she shared vibrant stories. Mark remained a steadfast presence in my life. Of her experiences on set, the interesting people she had met, and the exciting opportunities. I listened intently, a mix of admiration, struggling to reconcile my complex feelings. That evening, we attended a small gathering with some of the atmosphere was lively, filled with chatter and laughter. As we mingled, I couldn't help. We continued to support each other's aspirations, but noticed the way people gravitated towards Emma. Captivated by her effortless charm and stunning beauty, she seemed to shine even brighter or less conspicuous, and her stories enthralling everyone around her. Despite the twinge of jealousy I felt comfort in having Mark. His presence grounded me, offering a reassuring contrast to Emma's dazzling allure. As the night wore on, I appreciated Mark's steady support. Celebrate and navigate challenges together. His quiet strength providing a sense of stability amidst the whirlwind of Emma's charisma. From the moment I met Mark, our relationship felt like something out of a beautifully written novel. We met during our sophomore year in a creative writing class. It didn't take long for me to be drawn into your quiet nature. Mark had a passion for poetry and storytelling, and his gentle demeanor. Our relationship was built on a foundation of trust and thoughtful insights. Quickly, our friendship began with long conversations. After class, we would sit in the campus cafe, sipping on coffee and discussing our favorite authors and the themes that resonated most with us. Mark's love for poetry was evident in the way he spoke, carefully chosen and imbued with. I find myself looking forward to these moments, cherishing the time we spent together. One crisp autumn afternoon, and mutual respect and IT only grew stronger with time. Invited me to a poetry reading at a local bookstore. The bookstore setting with its dim lighting, creating a cozy atmosphere. As we listened to the poets, I felt a sense of connection and understanding with Mark that I had never experienced before. After the reading, we walked through the city streets, the leaves crunching under our feet. Meanwhile, I stood nearby and talked about our dreams. It was after this walk that Mark shyly admitted his feelings for me, and I realized that I felt the same way. Our relationship blossomed from there. Mark's presence in my life was helping me navigate the challenges of college. With grace and resilience, we spent countless hours together studying, attending art exhibits, and exploring the city. As I reflected on my journey, Mark's support and encouragement, and he often attended my gallery showings, always and readings, the first to offer a thoughtful critique. One of my favorite memories from those early days was a spontaneous road trip we took. During spring break, we decided to visit a small coastal town known for its picturesque beaches and vibrant art scene. I realized that my path to self-acceptance, the drive was filled with laughter and music as we sang along to our favorite songs and shared stories from our childhoods. When we arrived, we spent our days wandering, collecting seashells on the beach, and watching the sunset over the ocean. In the evenings, we would sit on the balcony of our little beach cottage, wrapped in blankets, and talk for hours under the stars. And confidence was not just about achieving success. It was during this trip just how I realized I had fallen in love with Mark. Mark had a way of making me feel appreciated. He valued my creativity and intelligence, and he often reminded me of my worth, especially during moments. His love was a steady, unwavering force that gave me the confidence to pursue and believe in myself. With him by my side, I felt empowered to take risks, external, and embrace new opportunities. Our relationship wasn't without its challenge. Of course, there were times when the pressure and our individual ambitions, we always managed to find our way back to each other. Communication was key, and Mark's patient, understanding nature made it easier for us to navigate any obstacles that came our way. We learned to support each other's dreams. It was about embracing my unique talents and celebrate each other's successes, knowing that our love was strong enough to withstand any difficulties. One particularly challenging period came during our senior year, when I was working on my senior thesis, a collection of paintings and essays, exploring the intersection of art and literature. The project was incredibly demanding, and there were times when I felt overwhelmed, believing in my worth and finding joy in the process, and unsure of myself. Offering a listening during this time, words of encouragement and practical support. He would bring me coffee during late-night work sessions, help me organize my thoughts, and remind me to take breaks. His unwavering belief in me gave me the strength to persevere as I graduated. With joy and support, I had learned Mark to see myself. Mark and I began to discuss our future together. We knew that the transition from college to the real world will bring new challenges, but we were committed to facing them together. Mark had been accepted into a prestigious program for creative writing, and I had been offered a position as an art instructor at a local community center. We were excited about the opportunities ahead through a lens of compassion and the chance to continue growing, both individually and as a couple. Our love deepened as we navigated the post-college world. We moved into a small apartment together, filling it with books, art supplies, and the memories we had collected over the years. We continued to support each other's passions. Mark attended our shared love for creativity and self-respect, smiling politely, was a constant source of inspiration and connection. One of the most memorable moments of our life was a college trip that Mark planned For our anniversary, he had arranged for us to visit a secluded cabin in the mountains, a place where we can escape city life and reconnect with nature. The cabin was nestled in a lush forest, with a clear, waiting for someone to notice, babbling brook and a stunning view of the mountains. We spent our days hiking through the woods, exploring hidden trails and marveling at the beauty. In the evenings we would sit by the fireplace, sipping hot cocoa, and sharing our hopes and dreams for the future. It was during this trip that Mark proposed, presenting me with a simple, elegant ring that he had designed himself. His proposal was heartfelt and sincere. It was a lesson, a reflection of the deep love and commitment we shared. I joyfully accepted, and we spent the rest of the evening celebrating our engagement under the stars. Our journey towards self-confidence in our careers continued to evolve. I found immense fulfillment in my role helping as students discover their own creative potential. Stay with me for the rest of my life. Challenged him to refine his craft, and he began to gain new challenges and uncertainties. But our love remained a constant, guiding us through every twist and turn. My journey towards self-acceptance and confidence in my career was deeply intertwined with my relationship with Mark. His unwavering support and belief worked for me, instrumental in helping me overcome the insecurities of our beautiful that had plagued me for so long. One of the most significant steps in my journey was the decision to pursue a master's degree in art. Combining my love for art with a desire to help others, I found a sense of purpose and fulfillment that was profoundly rewarding. The program was rigorous, but it allowed me to explore new dimensions of my creativity and develop a deeper shared experiences. Understanding of the therapeutic power of art. Throughout my studies, Mark was my biggest cheerleader. He celebrated my successes and provided comfort during moments of doubt. His encouragement gave me the confidence and take risks, knowing that he believed in my abilities. Even when I struggled to believe in myself, my first internship as an art therapist was both challenging and transformative. I worked with a diverse group of clients, challenges and triumphs, each with their own unique stories and struggles. Through my work, I witnessed the incredible impact that art could have on individuals' emotional and mental well-being. It was a humbling and inspiring experience that reinforced my commitment to this city. One particularly memorable client was a young girl named Mia, who had experienced significant trauma. Our relationship was a source of strength and struggled with severe anxiety. For ourselves, began to express her feelings and experiences through her artwork. Watching her transformation and growth was deeply moving, and it affirmed my belief in the power of art therapy. Also mirrored my own journey towards self-acceptance and inspiration, guiding us through the complexities of life and helping us grow both individually and as a couple. A few guests did offering kind but brief comments. I felt a deep sense of gratitude for the love and the journey we had embarked on together. With Mark by my side, I knew that I could face any challenge and continue to pursue my dreams with confidence and resilience. The day of the outing with Mark and his friends had arrived, and I was filled with nervousness and excitement. This was a significant moment for you, as we planned to reveal the exciting Lily, you look cute news of our upcoming marriage to his close-knit group. Mark had organized a small gathering at a charming lakeside cabin, a picturesque location perfect for such an announcement. The cabin was nestled among tall pine trees, with a serene view of the lake that shimmered under the late afternoon sun. As we drove to the cabin, Mark and I chatted about the details but the focus was always on Emma. Our wedding plans, our excitement palpable. He reached over and squeezed my hand, his eyes filled with love and anticipation. This is going to be great. They're going to be so happy for us, he said reassuringly when we arrived. We were greeted by the warm smiles and friendly banter of Mark's friends. It was my first time meeting most of them, and I was eager to make a good impression. I remember feeling a pang of jealousy that we settled into the cozy living area, which was decorated with rustic furniture and adorned with fairy lights that added a magical touch to the evening. As the evening progressed, the atmosphere grew livelier. We enjoyed a delicious dinner prepared by Mark, who is an excellent cook. The table was filled with an array of dishes, from grilled vegetables to succulent steaks, a confusing and unwelcome emotion. And the conversation flowed easily. There was a sense of camaraderie and warmth that made me feel welcome, despite my initial nerves. After dinner, we moved to the spacious deck overlooking the lake. The sun had begun to set, casting a golden glow over the water. A glance knowing it was the perfect moment to share our thoughts, but I didn't fully understand. He stood up, drawing everyone's attention. "Can I have your attention for a moment?" Mark began, his voice filled with excitement. "Lily and I have some news we'd like to share with you." All the group quieted down, all eyes on us. I felt a rush of anticipation as Mark
"We're getting
continued,
married,"
he announced, his face lighting up with joy.
At the time,
There was a moment
Emma
of
and wanted
stunned
her to
silence,
be happy.
followed by a chorus of cheers and applause. His friends rushed to congratulate us, and we felt a warm sense of acceptance and happiness. We toasted to our future, clinking glasses of champagne and exchanging hugs. As the celebration continued, everyone settled back into their seats. Drinks in hand, the conversation turned to lighter topics, but I couldn't help but feel invisible in her shadow. We began to share stories and laugh. At some point, the topic of siblings came up, and one of Mark's friends, Jenna, asked me about my family. "So Lily, do you have any siblings?" she inquired, her tone genuinely curious. "Yes, I have an older sister, Emma," I replied, smiling. "She's a model and actress." It was a feeling that the mention of Emma seemed to pique everyone's interest. "Wow, a model and actress. That's impressive," Jenna remarked. It was at this moment that Mark, who had been enjoying a few drinks, chimed in loudly. "If you guys see her sisters pretty, you should see her sisters pretty," he exclaimed, a broad grin on his face. He then pulled out his phone and began scrolling through Emma's Instagram. "Follow me throughout my childhood," showing photos to everyone at the table. Reaction was immediate and predictable. They were all in awe, commenting on how stunning she is, gorgeous. "Wow, she could be a supermodel. No wonder she's in the industry." I felt a knot tighten in my stomach, my heart sinking the evening, which had started so beautifully, and into my teenage years, now felt tainted. Mark's comment and subsequent admiration for Emma's photos made me feel small and insignificant. I forced a smile, trying to hide my discomfort, but inside I was reeling as the night continued. I couldn't shake the feeling I watched over me. Mark's words echoed in my mind, a harsh reminder of the insecurities I had battled for so long, the constant comparisons to Emma, growing stronger with each passing year, the feeling of being overshadowed. I came rushing back in that moment. I tried to engage in the conversation, but my mind was elsewhere. I felt a growing sense of resentment wasn't just about hurt. The comment itself, but the realization that even my own boyfriend seemed to find Emma more attractive than me. It was a painful confirmation of Mark my seemingly fears. Oblivious to my distress. Family outings were continued to laugh and chat with his friends. I watched him feeling a mixture of anger and sadness. How could he not see how much his comment had hurt me? How could he not understand? Eventually, I excused myself and went inside. Needing a moment to collect my thoughts, I stood in the kitchen, staring out the window at the darkening lake, feeling tears prick at the corners of my eyes. The evening, another reminder of the differences, which was supposed to be a joyous celebration, had turned into a painful reminder of the insecurities. I couldn't escape when the gathering finally ended, and Mark walked me down to bed. The silence between us was heavy. As we lay in the darkness, I couldn't hold back any longer. "Mark," I began, my voice trembling, "and how we were perceived whether we were at the park. Why did you say that about Emma tonight?" He turned to face me, confusion written across his face. "What do you mean you said? If everyone thinks I'm pretty, they should see my sister," I explained, my voice breaking. "Then you showed them her photos. Do you have any idea how—" The realization dawned on his face. And he reached out to take my hand. "The Zoo 0R on a beach vacation. Lily, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it like that. But that's how it felt," I said, pulling my hand away. "It felt like you were saying, she's more beautiful than me. Like I'm not enough." And in front of all your friends, Mark's expression softened, and he looked genuinely remorseful. I didn't think about it that way. I was just trying to show them. Emma always drew admiring glances. "How amazing your family is. I'm really sorry, Lily. You know I love you and think you're beautiful." His words, though sincere, did little to ease the pain. The damage had been done, and I couldn't simply brush IT off. IT is not just about tonight. I thought you understood how hard comments are. From strangers? I do understand. Mark insisted I was just being stupid and careless. Please forgive me, I didn't mean to hurt you. I wanted to believe him, to let go of the hurt and move on. But the comment IT wasn't deep enough. I couldn't easily forget. I need some time, I said finally. I need to process this, Mark nodded, his eyes filled with regret. What a beautiful child, they would say to my parents. Take all the time you need, Lily. I'll be here when you're ready to talk. The days following the outing were difficult. The comment replayed in my mind. A constant reminder. I found myself insecure social media, not wanting to see Emma's photos. In the flood of admiration they always garner, I distanced myself from Mark, needing space to sort through my feelings. She should be in movies. Mark tried to make amends in various ways, leaving me sweet notes, planning thoughtful gestures, and repeatedly apologized. But I appreciated his efforts. The wound was still fresh, and I struggled to move past it. I confided in my close friends, seeking their perspective and support. They were understanding and empathetic, reassuring me of my worth and beauty. My parents would smile proudly and say, Lily, you're an incredible person. Sarah, my best friend, said one afternoon over coffee, Mark loves you for who you are. He made a mistake. But that doesn't change how amazing you are. Their words were comforting, but the internal struggle remained. I can't escape the constant comparison, and I don't think I ever will. While I stood quietly by their side, it's exhausting. How do I overcome these insecurities? Additionally, as I reflected on my journey and the experiences that had shaped my relationship with Mark, I found myself drawn to the charm by others who had heard my story. These insights, coming from an external point of view, provided a fresh lens through which I could see my situation more clearly. It was as if they were holding up a mirror, wishing for a fraction of the attention, Emma allowing me to confront the realities I had been avoiding. Here are some of those reflections. One commenter noted, 36 is too old for that kind of foot-and-mouth. With the syndrome, even if alcohol not only is he too old to not know better, but it's not even a foot-and-mouth situation. He didn't just casually acknowledge that Opie's sister was beautiful. He basically insulted his girlfriend the first day of elementary school and proceeded to show off her sister to his friends. If this is the way he acts in front of his girlfriend, one can only imagine what he acts like behind her back. This comment hit me hard. It underscored the gravity of Mark's actions and made me realize that his behavior was not just a careless mistake. It was a deeper issue of respect and understanding. At his age, Mark was a milestone for both. Emma should have known better than to make such a hurtful comment, especially in a public. Another commenter wrote, now you know that even if he didn't mean it like that, he certainly meant enough to publicly show off your sister to impress his friends. Imagine what the future will be like with this guy. Come check out this gorgeous woman I know, and me. No, not my wife. Her sister, he actually pulled out to show off another phone at a meeting where he was introducing his girlfriend. I can assure you the right one around the corner will be mortified when you tell him this perspective. Made me envision a future filled with her natural charisma, and the idea that Mark would prioritize impressing his friends over sobering my thoughts was a sobering thought. It made me question whether I wanted to spend my life with someone who might continue to undermine my self-esteem. A third commenter shared their personal experience. Leave him, I have a beautiful sister also. She is stunning, and I am not. I am cute, also, but my husband doesn't see the beauty of my sister. Was immediately popular, she made friends effortlessly. He has never compared me to her, and never seriously. He honestly doesn't get the hype of her, but tells me constantly how beautiful I am. You need to find a man like that. There is someone out there who will find you more beautiful than your sister, but it isn't the one you're with now. Leave him, and find someone better. This heartfelt advice resonated deeply with me. It gave me hope that there was someone out there and charm who would truly appreciate me for who I am, without making hurtful comparisons. The idea of being with someone who saw my uni and valued me above all others was incredibly comforting. These comments and reflections were eye-opening. They forced me to confront some difficult truths about my relationship with Mark. While his efforts to apologize, drawing others to her like a magnet and make amends, were sincere, the underlying issues of respect and understanding remained unresolved. It became clear that I needed to evaluate what I wanted and deserved in a relationship. The story narrates a journey emotional turmoil, self-discovery about the importance of self-acceptance, and recognizing one's intrinsic worth. I admired her ability to connect. Protagonist Lily grapples with a lifetime of comparison. Sister Emma stunning, From childhood to adulthood, she feels overshadowed by Emma's beauty, leading to deep-seated feelings of inadequacy. Self-doubt. However, as the story unfolds, Lily embarks on a journey of growth guided by the support of her friends, and often found myself staying quietly by her side. Central to the narrative is the impact of external validation on one's sense of self-worth. Lily's experiences with Mark, her boyfriend, highlight the profound effect that thoughtless comments can have on a person's confidence. Mark's ill-considered remark during a social outing watching triggers a cascade of emotions in Lily, underscoring the fragility of her self-esteem, serves as a catalyst for prompting Lily to confront her and reevaluate her relationship with Mark. Through Lily's journey, the story underscores the importance of mutual relationships, and Mark's failure to consider his words demonstrates a lack of sensitivity. As she navigated the social landscape with an understanding towards Lily's feelings, this serves as a poignant reminder that respect is not just about avoiding deliberate acts of harm, but also about acknowledging and honoring a partner's vulnerabilities. Lily's decision to address the issue directly underscores the significance of open communication in fostering healthy relationships. Moreover, Emma's popularity grew quickly. The story highlights the transformative power of self-awareness and personal growth. Lily's journey towards self-acceptance is not without its challenges, but it is through confronting her insecurities that she begins to reclaim her sense of self-worth. With the support of her friends, Lily learns to embrace her individuality and celebrate her unique qualities. The narrative also underscores she was invited to every birthday party, the importance of surrounding oneself with a supportive network of friends and loved ones. Lily's friends serve as a source of encouragement, offering empathy and understanding. During her moments of vulnerability, their unwavering support empowers Lily to confront her insecurity and make decisions that prioritize emotional well-being. This emphasizes chosen first for group activities, the transformative power of human connection, and overcoming personal challenges, and fostering resilience. The story culminates ultimately in a powerful realization of setting boundaries and prioritizing self-care. Lily's decision to end her relationship with Mark symbolizes a turning point in her journey towards self-empowerment. The story encapsulates a profound lesson, and always had someone to sit with at lunch, about the importance of self-acceptance, respect in relationships, open communication, the support of loved ones, and the necessity of setting boundaries. Through Lily's journey, we are reminded of the transformative power, empathy, and human connection in embracing our true selves. Challenges. It is through confronting our insecurities, on the other hand, with courage and compassion, that we can ultimately find the strength and pursue happiness on our own terms. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more shocking, real-life stories happening around you. I struggled to fit in. Making friends didn't come naturally to me. I was shy, preferring the company of a good book to the noise of the playground. While Emma thrived in the social environment, I often felt like an outsider looking in. In the classroom, the differences between us were equally adored teachers. They praised her participation, her enthusiasm, ability to brighten the room with her presence. "Emma, you're such a delight," they would say. "Your smile just lights up the classroom." I couldn't help but notice that their praise for me was more subdued. "Lily, you did well on your spelling test." Their tone lacking the same warmth and excitement. As the school year progressed, several significant events highlighted the growing gap between Emma and Emma. One such event was the annual school talent show. Emma decided to perform a dance routine, and she practiced diligently every day after school. Our parents were thrilled and supportive, attending every practice session and offering words of encouragement. When the night of the talent show arrived, the auditorium was packed with students, parents, and teachers. Emma took the stage in a sparkly costume, her confidence radiating through the room. She performed flawlessly, her movements graceful and captivating. The audience erupted in applause, and I felt a surge of pride for myself. But as the cheers grew louder, so did the pang of jealousy in my heart. Later that evening, as we gathered in the school gymnasium for refreshments, Emma was surrounded by admirers. "Emma, you are amazing. You should be a professional dancer." The compliments flowed freely, and I watched from the sidelines, feeling small and insignificant. No one seemed to notice my presence, and I couldn't shake the feeling of being overshadowed. One particular family gathering, it was Thanksgiving, and our house was filled with the delicious aroma of roasted turkey and pumpkin pie. Relatives had traveled from near and far, and the dining room buzzed with conversation. dressed in a stylish outfit that accentuated her beauty. As we gathered around, Margaret turned to Emma and said, "Emma, darling, you're looking more stunning than ever. You should be on the cover of a magazine." Everyone nodded in agreement, their eyes fixed on Emma. I felt a familiar knot tightly in my stomach. "How are you doing in school?" Aunt Margaret added. I forced a smile and replied, "I'm doing well, thank you." But the words felt hollow, and the conversation quickly shifted back to the evening war. I found myself retreating to unable to shake the growing sense of jealousy and inadequacy. The school year was filled with events, brightly, further highlighting the differences between us. One such event was the school spring fling, a day of fun activities, games, and performances. Emma was chosen to be the lead in the school fairy tale. Princess who, with her bravery and beauty, she rehearsed her lines with enthusiasm, and our parents couldn't have been prouder. On the day of the spring fling, the entire school gathered in the auditorium to watch the play. Emma's performance was expected flawless. She captivated the audience with her charm and grace, earning a standing ovation. I watched from the audience, clapping along with everyone else, but inside I felt a mix of pride and resentment. After the play, there were games and activities on the school lawn. Emma was surrounded by friends, all eager to be seen with the school star. I wandered the grounds, feeling out of place and disconnected. I wanted to join in the fun, but my shyness held me back. As I watched Emma laughing and playing with her friends, I couldn't help but wonder if I would ever feel as confident and accepted as she did. The first feelings of jealousy and resentment began to take root. During these formative years, I loved Emma deeply, but I couldn't ignore the favoritism that seemed to follow her everywhere. It wasn't just the teachers and family members who favored her, it was everyone. Even our peers seemed to gravitate, leaving me feeling like an afterthought. One Christmas, our family gathered at our grandparents' house. The living room was filled with twinkling lights, and the scent of freshly baked cookies filled the air. As we exchanged gifts, but Valentine's parents, "Emma, you're growing more beautiful every year. You look like a movie star." I received kind, but looking suspicious comments, they would say, their eyes already drifting back to Emma. That night, as we lay in our shared bedroom, I confided in Emma about how I was feeling. "Emma, do you ever get tired of all the attention?" I asked, my voice barely above. Emma whispered and turned to face me. "Sometimes, Lily. It can be overwhelming, but I'm grateful for IT too. You have so many amazing qualities that people notice. You're smart, creative, and kind. Don't let anyone make you feel less than you are." I appreciated Emma's words, but they didn't fully alleviate my feelings of inadequacy. It was hard to feel when I was constantly being compared to someone who seemed to have it all. As we progressed through elementary school, there were more events and activities that highlighted the differences between Emma and me. One such event was the annual science fair. Emma and I both participated, and while I worked diligently on my solar system, Emma chose a project that showcased her artistic talents. On the day of the science fair, the gymnasium was filled with colorful displays and eager students. Emma's project was beautifully presented, with intricate drawings of butterflies and a detailed explanation of their life cycle. My project, though well-researched, paled in comparison to the visual appeal of Emma's display. When the judges announced the winners, Emma received first place in the artistic contest. I received an honorable mention for my research, but I felt like a consolation. Our parents were proud of both of you, but the excitement around Emma's win was palpable. "You did such an amazing job. We're so proud of you," they exclaimed, while my achievement was acknowledged with a simple, "Good job, Lily." I tried to hide my disappointment, but it was difficult. The constant comparison and the feeling of being overshadowed were taking a toll on my self-esteem. I loved Emma and wanted to be happy for her, but I couldn't ignore the growing inadequacy. One summer, our family went on a vacation to a lake. It was a beautiful, serene place, surrounded by trees, perfect for swimming in. Emma and I spent our days exploring swimming in the lake and roasting marshmallows by the campfire. A group of kids from a neighboring cabin joined us. Emma, with her outgoing personality, quickly made friends with them. They were captivated by her beauty and charm, and soon they were playing games and splashing around. I tried to join in, but I felt like the kids seemed more interested in Emma, and I found myself drifting to the edge of the group. Watching from a distance that evening, as we sat by the campfire, I couldn't help but feel a pang of I had a way of making friends effortlessly, while I struggled to fit in. It was a feeling that I was becoming all too familiar with, and I didn't know how to deal with it. As we moved through elementary school, the differences between Emma and me continued to shape our experiences. Emma's popularity and ease stood in stark
friends.
contrast to my struggles. I found solace in my studies. But the dynamics of school were a constant challenge. One day during recess, a group of girls invited Emma to join their game of hopscotch. I stood nearby, hoping to be included, but they didn't seem to notice. Emma, always the kind sister, turned to me and said, "Lily, come play with us." The girls exchanged glances. But so I joined in, as we teased. But became clear that the girls were more interested in Emma. They complimented her on her hopscotch skills, giggled at her jokes, and vied for her attention. I felt like a background character in my own life. Struggling to find my place in a world that seemed to revolve around my sister. By the time we reached 5th grade, the divide between Emma and me had grown wider. Emma was elected class president, a role that suited her outgoing personality and leadership skills. She thrived in the spotlight, organizing events, leading discussions, and earning the admiration of teachers and students alike. I continued
often
to excel in top grades and praise from my teachers, but the recognition I received from the adoration showered on Emma. My achievements and accomplishments were celebrated with enthusiasm and fanfare. One spring, our school held a field day, a day filled with various athletic events and competitions. Emma, with her natural athleticism, signed up for competitive events. She won first place in the relay run, the long jump, and the obstacle course. The crowd cheered her on, and she was awarded for her outstanding performance. I participated in a few, but my results were modest in comparison. I placed 3rd in the 3-legged race and received a participation ribbon for the tug of war. Our parents congratulated me on my efforts, but their excitement was clearly focused on Emma's achievements. As we walked home that afternoon, Emma carried her trophy with pride, while I clutched my participation ribbon. Feeling a mix of pride and frustration, I was happy for Ian, but I couldn't help but feel overshadowed once again. And the feeling of being in her shadow were taking a toll on my self-esteem, and I didn't know how to break free from the cycle. Despite the challenges and the constant comparisons of hope, one such moment came from an unlikely source. Our art teacher, Mrs. Thompson. She was a kind and perceptive woman who had a talent for seeing the potential in her. One day after class, Mrs. Thompson asked Emmy to stay behind. "Lily, I've noticed that you have a real talent for drawing," she said, her eyes twinkling with attention to detail. "And your ability to capture emotion in your work are truly impressive." I blushed, not used to receiving such compliments. "Thank you, Mr. Thompson," I replied, feeling a spark of pride. "I think you should consider entering your artwork in the school's art contest," she continued. "You have a gift, and I believe it's worth sharing with others." Encouraged by her words, I decided to take a chance. I spent a week in my room, working on a piece that I hoped would capture the judge's attention. It was a portrait of a girl standing in a field of wildflowers, her expression of wonder and melancholy, determined to create something that would make me proud. When the day of the art contest, I felt a mix of excitement and nerves. The school gymnasium was filled, each piece of the testament to the talent and creativity of Emma. The students accompanied me, her supportive comfort in the sea of competition. As the judges made their rounds, I watched nervously, hoping that my results were announced. I was thrilled to hear my name called for first place in the drawing category. The applause was loud and genuine, and for the first time I felt like I'd truly earned my moment in the spotlight. Emma hugged me tightly. "I knew you could do it, Lily," she exclaimed. "You're amazing." When I came home and wanted to show off my achievement to my parents, I walked into the living room and saw already Emma basking in their praise. She had just returned from a photo shoot for a local magazine, and our parents were beaming with pride. Asked, she described the experience, and then the photographer said, "I had the perfect look for their come." Emma exclaimed, her eyes shining with excitement. My parents' faces lit up with admiration. "That's amazing, Emma. We're so proud of you," my mother said, giving her a tight hug. My heart sank as I watched the scene unfold. Clutching my certificate and ribbon, I felt my earlier excitement deflate. I wanted to share my success, to feel the same pride and joy from my parents, but the timing seemed all wrong. Not wanting to interrupt Emma's moment, I quietly slipped into my room and gently placed the certificate and ribbon sitting on my bed. I stared at the drawer, feeling a mix of disappointment and frustration. It wasn't that I begrudged Emma her. I just wished that Faro and I could have a moment where I felt truly seen and celebrated. Later that evening, as I sat at the table, my parents continued to talk about Emma's photo shoot, trying to push away the feelings of resentment that were bubbling up inside me. When there was finally a lull in the conversation, I mustered the courage to speak. "Mom, Dad, I won first place in the art contest today," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. They turned to look at me, their expressions shifting from excitement to polite interest. "That's wonderful," my father said with a smile. "Congratulations." "Yes, we're very proud of you, sweetheart," my mother added, but their enthusiasm didn't match the excitement they had shown for Emma's news. The conversation quickly shifted back to Emma's news, leaving me feeling once again overshadowed. As I cleared the dinner table that night, I thought about Mrs. Thompson's encouraging words and the applause I had received at the art contest. Despite my parents' subdued reaction, I reminded myself that my achievement was invaluable, and I needed to hold on to my success, even if it wasn't fully recognized. At my room, I took out the certificate and ribbon, placing them on my desk where I could see them. They were a reminder of my talent and my potential. In the midst of my struggle to find my place in a world that often favored my sister, as I lay out pursuing my passions and to celebrate my own victories, no matter how small was my sum of significant for both change. Emma and me. As we transitioned from childhood to adolescence, the differences between us became even more pronounced. Puberty brought with it a host of physical and emotional changes, and Emma's beauty seemed to blossom overnight. She grew taller, her figure became more defined, and her golden hair and striking blue eyes only became more captivating. It was as if she had stepped effortlessly, embodying the ideal of beauty. With her blossoming beauty came increased attention. Emma was constantly surrounded by admirers, her locker decorated with love notes. She received invitations to dances, parties, and other social events. Becoming a fixture in the middle school social scene, it was clear that Emma enjoyed the attention, and she navigated these new social dynamics with the same ease and charm that had always defined her. I have, on the other hand, experienced puberty in a more subdued way. My growth rate was less dramatic. My appearance remained relatively unchanged. My curly brown hair and hazel eyes were considered stunning, and I was often overlooked in favor of my sister's striking beauty. I was quieter, more reserved, and focused on my academics. While Emma thrived in the social spotlight, I found solace as Emma's popularity grew. So did her involvement in modeling and beauty pageants. She was scouted by a local modeling agency and began participating in photo shoots. Our parents were thrilled and supportive, attending every event and cheering her on from the sidelines. Emma's room quickly filled with trophies, sashes, and framed photos. She was becoming a local celebrity, and our parents couldn't have been prouder. As high school came to, Emma and I found ourselves at a crossroads, decided to fully pursue her modeling career, a path that had always seemed interesting for her. With her undeniable beauty and charisma, she had already made significant strides. In the industry, offers from modeling agencies and casting directors came pouring in, and soon she was traveling for various gigs and auditions. Our parents were immensely proud of her and supported her every step of the way. I, on the other hand, had chosen a different path. My passion for art and literature had only grown stronger over the excellent college programs in both fields. While Emma's world was filled with glitz and glamour, mine was more subdued but equally exciting. I looked forward to immersing myself. Exploring my new studies was a mix of excitement and nervousness.